Hello, dear friends. The discussion between one head in zero heads and multiple heads is quite strange for me because from the time I started being active in terms of being a teenage activist, I didn't do one thing. Like I went to sports, I went to acting, I went to actually helping the communities in paper collecting and recycling. I did all of this. Well, lots of my friends didn't do nothing or just do one thing. Like the whole discussion between are you serious enough if you do 100 things is crazy for me because I'm a PhD in psychology and I cannot fathom from where actually to start to unravel this. But take in perspective what happened to me just recently. So as a PhD in psychology and as a teacher, because this is how my university functions. Basically, you are given the opportunity to become a psychologist and a teacher at the same time, because my country Bulgaria has a very poor record of actually teaching people and students, especially and old people, psychology related skills, all kinds of skills like communication skills, soft skill, all kinds of soft skills, all kinds of let's call them emotional skills and emotional intelligence things. So there is a huge demand for such specialists and the need is very vast in my country. But my entrepreneurial point of view and the point of view of me as a blind person is that as a blind person, I see, pun intended and not, problems which can be resolved every day. And I'm trying to resolve them through communicating with people, through digging through research, through digging for how in other countries and organizations such problems as the ones I see are resolved, are tackling, related topics or definitely the topic that I want to tackle. And I come across and I need to work with quite a lot of people, people from medicine, people from law, naturally, people from building, people from all kinds of angles. And then came my work in United Nations. And oh my God, can I explain you how I felt when I went there? Here in my country and in Belgium, when I had my most meaningful part of my student years, it was fine. In Belgium it was a little better. Because first my colleagues weren't discriminating me. I started going parties, which I didn't hear. I started having social life. I started having flings in terms of relationships and stuff like this, which I didn't hear. So in Belgium it was better, but in United Nations, and it was 2018, so it was pre the pandemic times. It was outstanding for me. My colleagues were overwhelmed. Oh my God, it's only 12 in the day, and we went through 15 meetings on 10 different topics. Oh my God, how? And I was like, oh yeah, I like it. So, and in all the meetings, I never received like a note or something on hey, you are lacking behind, so maybe you should learn more, maybe you should develop this, maybe you should do that. No, it was all action-based things. It was all related to how fast I'm working and what are the things which I'm controlling. This was magical for me, and I liked it, but it was too much. In such environments, those environments just suck you in, and they never throw you out because you are needed. And suddenly I started having working days closer to 14, 16 hours because I was joining projects. yeah, basically what I did, I burned very hard in a very quick succession, and I needed to step away from it. And I went to IT because for the longest time ever, I I wanted to develop an app because, as I told you, as a blind person and as a person who needs to tackle a lot, I needed to tackle my businesses, my clients' businesses needs, and lots of businesses needs. And I saw that we people with disabilities never, nearly, okay, nearly never, are the business owners of the actual things that we are using. You know, for us, like blind people, we are using those white sticks, the white canes. Most of them are run by people who can see. And they are run and they are opened because some relative to them or some child of them has, needs. And I was like, no, I want this to change. And from my work in United Nations, I actually met quite a lot of people with quite a lot of different disabilities, quite a lot of different experiences, and um, different levels of energy. You know, the different energy that we're willing to put back into holding up the whole society. And I saw it. I saw the need of it. And I started developing an app with a friend who works as a IT person, but she works mainly in security. But she was like, my God, creating an app which teaches people with disabilities entrepreneurship sounds quite challenging, but I like it and I want to work with you and I want to help you learn how to code. And just like this, in my last year in United Nations, I learned how to code in Swift. So it's the Apple's language of coding because mainly it's the most accessible for me. Also, I thought back then, and we started coding. We started creating with her, and fast forward to the IT sector. There, I was pushed back. You know, a lot of times people in IT are like, "Oh, my sector is so full of life. It's so dynamic." No, no. The IT sector that I went in is a fairly big European tech company, which has European offices in lots of countries, Asian offices. It works mainly with American clients and starts to work with European clients, and everything was crawling. You know, compared to the tempo in United Nations, and my colleagues were all the time, "Oh, we have so much work. Oh my God, it's so lacking clarity. It's disgusting. Oh my God, how we are going to work through it." And I was like, guys, do you know what a privileged job you are working currently in? Because you have your tasks for the day at the smallest. You have a basic idea of what's going to happen in the meetings that you are invited to, and you have kind of predictability for the day which is ahead of you. Sometimes you have an idea what's happening a week away from now, which in some parts of United Nations might happen. I know that in some IT companies, because in different projects of mine I worked with people who worked in other IT companies, and I know that there are IT companies in which there is forecasting, there is um, uh, you know b- processes in places which are trying to make everything more agile and more interesting and more fast paced. But the nature of the people who are working there in this industry in Bulgaria, outside of Bulgaria, in the European Union, is quite different than the people who are trying to do policy. Most of my colleagues in United Nations, when I worked in United Nations and I was like, yeah, we people in policy, and they were like, oh, we are not doing policy. And I'm like, oh, sorry, well, what exactly is the thing that we are doing and it's not policy? So the people who are doing policy are quite different people, and the people who do IT just create way less chaos and way less predictability predictability issues. I have definitely problems with that word compared to the people from policy making. And what I'm trying to say is that when I am trying to get to my projects, and when I'm trying to say why I am wearing different hats, I had a perfect opportunity this weekend because I got involved into a political academy, which is happening under center right, slightly liberal Bulgarian European MP, and I had to work on green policies, the Green Deal of the European Union. Now, me, I'm more centrist kind of guy because, yeah, I say that for me as a blind person, I think that the most amount of empowerment for us, for inclusion for us, can happen through business and social work, entrepreneurship. But in the same time, I see that in order for accessibility to help everyone, it needs investing. And if we are looking at pure numbers, sometimes the investments of accessibility don't add up in a quite linear way, in a quite friendly way, in a quite predictable way for actual right, center right people. But yeah, still we are sharing the same values. We want Bulgaria to be aligned with the European Union. We are working for the European Union to be more unified and more like a federal structure. But what I'm trying to say is that I had to work on green policies. And one of the people who I know kind of the best before the academy started, he was like, why the hell they decided to put you there? And he was quite surprised that for the longest time, like not for the longest time ever, but compared to my standards, for like a year now, I think in 1 month it's going to be a year now, I'm trying to work on a brand of shoes which is created by people with disabilities, for people with disabilities, and for all kinds of people, but first maybe for people with disabilities, because we people with different disabilities have different needs than the regular shoes that you can buy in the store, like retail structure that we are currently having. But in the same time, again, as accessibility goes, when you have nicely designed accessibility, it can help, and it is helping people with regular needs. And people with regular needs are going to like those shoes again. And why it takes me for so long? Because I do it alone. Because it turned out that the people who I wanted to work with have trouble with explaining what they want and what they don't. So they dropped the ball quite late in the stage, and I was quite advanced at that level. So I rescheduled everything in terms of market research, in terms of, business cases and all kinds of such things. And I concentrated only on seeking for suppliers who are ESG compatible. ESG compatible are basically, creators of raw materials, providers of different stages of the shoe making process, which are friendly to the nature, friendly to the society, and friendly to well, democratical values and yes, stuff like this. And it was by chance that I could say meaningful things, because most of the things which I shared from this perspective, from the perspective of a person who wants to start a new small-ish kind of niche business right now, and who is actively researching, not currently working, but researching for business purposes, it was meaningful. But I could have said, guys, you know what? Maybe you are better specialists out there. Maybe I can just step away from this, and you can do better things, because I'm a psychologist. What I know about, green energy, saving, batteries and yeah, pollution, every kind of technology which can save our lives. And I could have said this if I embraced the culture of the IT sector, or if I was a person who functioned like this. Because again, it's purely valid if you are not comfortable working on multiple projects, working under multiple hats. And I could have stepped away. Yes, I could. Um, I could been more silent, but I heard that my colleagues are sliding a little in the populist belief that here, countries in the south of Europe, we have way less money. We cannot be as fast paced in green architecture. Let's put it like this, because we are talking here both about producing raw materials, about producing electricity, all kinds of stuff. We are talking about the green society. Okay, let's leave it like this. And I was like, guys, okay, you are economists, you are energy guys, you are all kinds of such specialists, but in Bulgaria, don't we have first the problem of corruption, that the little money which are coming here are actually given to the unappropriate people, and are not controlled, and are not persecuted after. And actually, there are some money, and even those money are not put when they're where they are needed to. And this was a huge turning point in our narrative, because the whole group just shifted. They shifted from actually voicing maybe kind of popular voices in the south of Europe, in my country. But the valid point, especially for my country, is that corruption prevents lots of the green investments, and not the actual lack of money, because the money might be not a lot, but we are not quite sure, because even the money we have, we cannot aim them precisely at the place where they are needed to be because of corruption. And we cannot claim that there are not enough money. But in the same time, I couldn't know this if I wasn't involved in policy making, if I wasn't a party member of a party which is interested in actually battling corruption, which didn't enter the current cabinet of Bulgaria, because the prime minister that was projected to be the prime minister didn't accept our rules of continuing fighting the corruption via digital tools and changes into prosecution and all kinds of such processes. I couldn't know this if I wasn't proactive. I wouldn't be able to contribute if I didn't go to acting and didn't learn to listen as a psychologist. So at that single moment, multiple heads of things which I had no business into getting in actually worked for me. Actually turned the narrative of a whole group of specialists in a whole other direction of work, of research, of discussion, and of end product, I believe. So, yes, if you are a person who is comfortable and who works better if they work only on one task or mainly on one task, it's fine. Have the power to yourself, please. But if you are a person who is curious, who has the energy to, by all means, join as much as you can. But please don't hide the skills that you're learning. Don't hide the knowledge that you have. Don't hide the context that you have, and don't hide the contacts that you have, because being proactive and wearing multiple hats may be decremental for your head sometimes. Because, well, you can burn out. I burned out. But in the same time, it's different. It's not done by a lot of people, and sometimes it cannot be done for longer ride, sadly, because there are multiple of outstanding people that I met in my consulting of businesses, in my university years, in my United Nations years, in my IT years, who just burned themselves, not burned out, completely burned themselves because of the pressure of the people who are interested at only doing one thing, because of the pressure that in order to do multiple things and they don't consume you, you need to reach out and to accept for help, and accept the help which is offered to you, which will come naturally if you are a supportive person, if you do a lot of things, and if you are proactive. Thank you. Follow me in my, all the means I'm going to share with you, and have a very nice day.